Behind the Shades.
So I guess my first question, which is one of two, would be how can I assist someone that may be going through suicidal thoughts?
So you have to really recognize what's going on. People who are struggling with their mental health, they change their whole way of doing things. If they were social butterflies and they start introverting, that's a problem. If they're making plans for lunch with you and all of a sudden they cancel at the last minute, you want to question that, especially if they're doing it constantly. Um, I would even cancel doctor's appointments because I wouldn't even get out of the house. Somebody's isolating themselves in the house. Somebody's talking about how life isn't good anymore, or just everything's going wrong. Those are the keys to you being, I don't want to say the word triggered because that's not the right word, but it's time for you, if you're observing things like that, to turn around and say, hey, I'm noticing some changes. Are you okay? And don't take yes for an answer if you really know they're not. Because too many people, I've talked to so many podcasters, and a couple of them have already said to me, I've had friends that I've said, hey, are you okay? And they said, yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry, I'm good. And they took their own lives a couple of weeks later. I couldn't even imagine how that could affect somebody's psyche, that they actually did say something but didn't do anything. So the key is looking out for those people that are changing how they're going about life. And have they decided that they're not going to go about life anymore? Isolating yourself and pulling away from people is a perfect example of that, but you still might not see it. I was, one of those things is perfectionism that people always talk about. I had to learn that if I wasn't perfect, I'd be boring because I'd never learn anything. But I also would say yes to everything. I would say, sure, I'll do this. Sure, I'll do that. Sure, no problem. I can do that. And then I'd underdeliver. I wouldn't finish it. I wouldn't do the job that I thought it was good. And then I get down on myself. Even if somebody thought that what I did was fabulous, I didn't. So if you're starting to see those types of things in people, that's when you really have to step up and say, hey, are you okay? And the probability is you're going to have to pull it out of them. But if you do find out that they're not okay, there's so many things you can do to help. One of them is say, do you want to talk? If they say, no, I don't want to talk, you can turn around and say, well, can I just sit here with you for a little while? You'd be amazed at how just sitting there quietly can affect somebody on a positive manner. If you're really worried about them, say, hey, come with me. Let me take you to go get some help. If you think that they're an immediate threat to themselves, call 911. Because especially if it's not a family member, if it's a friend, if it's a family member, say, let's go. We're going to the ER. Don't let it go. If you really are feeling that, most people will know that something is just not right. And like I said, when I had my crisis, now mine could be different from everybody else. I don't know. I don't know how everybody else feels. But for me, I just felt like dead weight. I couldn't move. I didn't want to move. And there was nothing here, nothing in the brain. It just was dead. And that's how I kept feeling. And that's what brought me to, why are you even here? So yeah, making sure you pay attention to the people that are around you and getting them, not taking yes for an answer, and getting them the help if you really feel like they need it. That's the all important part of it.
The second question that I would have in regards to that, as well as you shared such a beautiful method for someone like me who wants to assist people to do. I guess the second question, the follow up would be when someone is thinking about attempting self deletion, when someone is having those types of thoughts, what is something that they can do immediately to kind of talk them down from that proverbial ledge that they're on?
So if you yourself are struggling and you're to that point, it's a balance, because how deep are you? That's always the big thing, is how deep in are you? If you're so deep that you can't think straight, you're beyond. Because I can tell you, you can't even just pick up the phone and text help. You just can't do it. It's just not, you're not physically, mentally capable of doing any of that. Anybody who struggles with their mental health, if they have a mental illness, if they struggle with pain, excuse me, pain is a huge trigger for a lot of people. You gotta be proactive. You have to talk about it. In the United States, and I'm sure you can get it anywhere, there's this thing called the WRAP program. And basically, it's just a list of things that your person can do when you're not doing well. So I'm trying to remember what WRAP stands for, and I'm sure I should remember it. So, but yeah, you do that, and it's just a list of, it's Wellness Recovery Action Plan. That's what it stands for. And when you're healthy and when you're well, or when you're feeling good, you go through this on what somebody else can do for you if you end up in crisis. Whether it's, just sit with me, or get me to a hospital, or I don't want these people around me, or, whatever it is, it's a step-by-step plan, and you can get it right online. This step-by-step plan. And if you struggle with your mental health, I would highly recommend going through that process and filling it out. And that this way, if you do get in that place, you can always let somebody know if they see it to go through this plan. I didn't have that plan in place beforehand, but it's possible that maybe you can, if you had it handy, just leave it out on a dining room table, or, hand it to a family member as a trigger to say, hey, wait, I'm not doing good. So that's always very helpful. But all I can say for the most part is you have to talk about it. You have to let people know what's going on.